Hello everyone and welcome back to Bacon. Also welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon, Chev's route, where we're possibly going to be making a very big mistake. Okay, so if we use flowers, maybe we won't cause horrible harm? Perhaps if I put my mind to it, I could do something grand, but I am distracted by the petals on Chevalier's head. Chevalier always talks about how regal I look. Perhaps a reversal is in order. I'll need an assistant for my trick. I turn to Chevalier, and before he can so much as ask a question, cast my spell. The petals in the room abruptly stop falling and fly towards Chevalier, brushing past his shoulder to form a cape. The petals on his head form into a slanted crown. It is, I think, appropriately dramatic. The audience begins to laugh. It is not mocking laughter, it is jubilant. Chevalier looks at me, and the smile he flashes is so bright it warms my entire body. I hope that was the correct decision then. He clears his throat. Well then, now that I have a cape and crown, I feel it is appropriate to give myself a dramatic name. I hereby dub myself the Flower King. He reaches up to straighten his crown, and in doing so nearly knocks it off his head. The motion prompts a fresh round of laughter from the audience. That could be pretty cute. The nobles might have yet to warm up to Chev, but the townsfolk adore him. Now then, as the Flower King, I believe I have the power to decide the winner of this contest, no? What? Senna steps forward, eyes narrowed. Old man, you better. The winner is Princess Lucette, the most talented and beautiful witch in all the land. That's what you get! The audience claps, and I can't stop myself from laughing when Chevalier winks at me. Wait. I think it's clear who the victor is. You were already decided that you were the victor no matter what, Cinna. Don't even play. The tavern door burst open. A familiar man strides into the room, a mischievous smile on his lips. Karma! Or Claude, rather. Oh, what's this? It's gonna be really hard to think of him as Karma versus Claude. He's still pretty. He's still very pretty. I hate that it looks like he cut his hair, though. How dare you! Claude's eyes land on Chevalier. He raises an eyebrow. Do I want to know what's happening here? It was correct. I had hoped so. You are now in the court of the Flower King. How rude of you to interrupt the proceedings of the day unannounced. No, I don't think I do. I thought the festival was still a week off. Have I missed some of the pre-celebrations? Oh, so that's his little brother Llama. Lance. Another man steps out from behind Claude. His younger brother Lance. Hello, people of Angiel. He's sparkly. He smiles, a dazzling smile that makes him sparkle. Oh, he's got orangey eyes. We're sorry to interrupt. The apology is swallowed by the audience's screams as they surge toward the door, yelling Lance's name. Claude slides disgruntledly out of the crowd surrounding his brother and makes his way over to us. Seems like you weren't the only one who was upstaged, Cinna. I was not upstaged, Cinna Claude. The two speak at the same time. Cinna turns away, cheeks flush, while Claude runs a hand through his hair and sighs. I just had a thought. So, both in the original route and as well as this route, it's trying to indicate that Claude's not all that, if that makes sense. Almost like they're trying to make it clear that he's the superior one, in a way. Like, that's how it kind of felt in the last route, was that, like, he's the superior over Karma. And it kind of feels like they're still kind of doing that a little bit here. Because in truth, especially in like Karma's route and everyone else's route, Claude would have 100%, well, him and his brother, it looks like, would have garnered the attention of the entire audience. I just can't see Claude as being completely shoved to the side, considering he's as pretty as his brother. If that makes sense. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt at this point. It just really seems like they're trying to downstage Claude in both Chev's original route and this route. But I might be reading too much into that, which is also a thing I need to stop saying so often. It is a curse to have such a magnanimous brother. The face. You're so pretty. Ah, but at least you have us as friends. Claude shrugs discontentedly at that. What are you doing here? My family's expecting you at the palace. I figured I may as well drop by and offer my greetings to the marching crowd. He glances at Senna. Hello, kid. Call me that again and I'll bury you in flowers. Senna grumbles something beneath his breath before stomping away. Prickly as always. He's just grumpy because you interrupted his magic show. Claude turns to Delora. Ah, Lady Delora, how lovely it is to see you again. It's only been a couple of months. You haven't been gone long enough for me to miss you. But you would have missed me if I'd been away longer? Are you hitting on Delora, bro? Delora snorts, doubtful. How rude. I am overall offended by this reception. He shoots a disgruntled look at his brother, who is smiling awkwardly at his adoring fans. Chevalier grins. Weren't you avoiding besotted girls years ago? Please don't let this turn into something bad. Please. I'd have thought you wouldn't envy your brother in his position. Are you two so close you're finishing each other's thoughts now? He sighs. This feels really awkward to me. How is it the man with a name that sounds like a fancy cake has found love before I have? Perhaps it's because he's... Oh boy. Nope. Princess, you wound me. Well, it's good to see this place is lively again. He doesn't have a sincere bone in his freaking body. Don't even play. Hello again, Prince. Waltz, you beautiful, beautiful man. Greetings, Mr. Magician. I'm surprised it wasn't you performing today. Senna wanted to give it a try, which, speaking of... Waltz turns to me. Thank you for playing along, Princess. It was my pleasure. Once we've all finished exchanging pleasantries, I turn the conversation to Emmeline's proposal, suggesting to Waltz that he, and Senna, if he is up to it, perform during the festival. Unsurprisingly, Waltz agrees. You know, it's always my pleasure to perform for the Crown Princess. Senna would never admit to it, but I'm sure he'd love the opportunity to show off, too. Delora raises an eyebrow. What about you, Princess? What about me? If Senna's on stage, maybe you should perform with him. Ah, the Lucis and Tenebrarum bearer. Performing on the same stage would be a momentous moment in our history, don't you think? Casanova has a point. It's been a long time since the populace have seen witches and fairies get along so publicly. They make a good point. That actually is a good point. Not too long ago, witches and fairies were believed to be enemies. Perhaps a joint performance would improve the townsfolk's perception of witches. If it helps relations, I don't suppose it can hurt. By the time we have finished discussing our plans for the week, Lance is finally able to join us. He looks worn out, but still wears a pleasant smile on his face. Emmeline's gonna have to get a bat to fight off all the other girls. Princess Lucette, Sir Chevalier, it is, as always, an absolute honor to be in your company again. You know you don't need to use my title, Lance. Sorry. Habit. Claude sighs dramatically. Are we done here? Our guards are waiting outside and are probably growing impatient. You're the one who wanted to take this detour. Because I have manners, unlike a certain lovesick fool who has only been talking about one person his entire trip. That is uncalled for. The squabbling brings me back to the present. Emmeline stay at the palace to greet Lance. It would be rude to keep her and everyone else waiting. After promising to discuss our plans further, Chevalier and I excuse ourselves to escort the princess back to the palace. By the time we return, the table has been set for dinner. Ophelia and Father are both pleasant and conversational, but Emmeline and Rod is like a storm cloud and keeps casting sharp looks at Lance, who is beginning to look distinctly uncomfortable. Protective brother syndrome! Rod only looks away when Claude directly addresses him. Have you given any thought to the exchange program I mentioned before, Prince Rod? Your invite to sing Brigantia and learn traditional dances? Indeed, we would love to host you. Claude glances at his brother. And if you'll have him, my brother would like to extend his stay in NGL. He's interested in learning more about the foreign policies here. I bet he is! I've always had a special interest in the subject. Sure you did, buddy. Sure you did. I forget sometimes that because Claude is the heir, his brother has more freedom than he does. The freedom, for instance, to extend visitations. Rod's really pretty. I like how his hair grew out like that. He's very pretty. He got real pretty. Wonder if Sebby still talks in this. I, for one, think it is a wonderful idea. Rod shrugs. I'm still thinking about it. He looks skeptically at Lance. Look at that angry face. Protective brother syndrome. You're interested in foreign policy? Who would be teaching you? Not my sister, surely. You know I don't have that kind of expertise, Rod. Lance smiles. You should not underplay your talents, Princess Emmeline. Your NGL history lessons are always enlightening. I bet they are! Oh, thank you. Blushed says it all! If Rod were a witch, I have no doubt he'd set Lance on fire with just a scowl. Before the situation can become any more heated, Chevalier clears his throat. If Princess Emmeline is not up to the task, then I humbly volunteer to educate the prince about NGL politics. He winks at me. The princess can vouch for me. I'm an excellent teacher, aren't I? Saving. And I think I already know what I want to, like... The lessons in anatomy is the better one, because the lessons in flirting, no matter which way you went, was just bad. Chevalier taught me everything I know about medicine and the human body. He is very good at explaining even complicated things. Chevalier looks taken aback. Ah, well, you were an excellent student, Lucette. Must he always compliment me when I'm trying to compliment him? Stop complimenting me when I'm complimenting you, complimenting me, complimenting you! Politics and medicine are hardly related. I disagree. We are all surprised when my father speaks. The practices may be different, but the incentives are the same. Both doctors and governments work to protect the health and well-being of the citizens they serve. Yeah! Policies aren't just the backbone of our nation. They're a salve for our country's wounds. I have never thought about it that way. Chevalier looks similarly odd. I've struggled very hard with that just now. I do not miss the gratitude in his eyes. I hope he sees that Father values his opinions and experiences. Your Majesty. Father chuckles. I can't speak for his other lessons, but Chevalier and I have had very insightful conversations about politics. It's true. In the very least, Father seems to enjoy discussing politics with Chevalier over breakfast. He has said before that he believes Chevalier provides a unique, more personal perspective on such issues, having been directly impacted by them before. It would be an honor to learn from a man as well learned as you, Sir Chevalier. And it would be my honor to assist you, Your Highness. I scrape absently at my plate with my fork as the conversation continues. I expect to leave the dining hall with Chevalier once the meal is cleared, but am surprised when Claude requests his company. I want to talk to you about Lance's so-called instruction. Oh, how brotherly of you. They're gonna fight. Chevalier leans over to plant a kiss on my cheek. I'll be back in a bit, my sweet princess. Wait for me? Wasn't expecting it, but now I have to finish that scarf. I have nowhere else to be, Chev. Take your time. Please, please take your time. I nod. This will be good for him. Maybe Claude can give him some advice on how to interact with the nobles. I shall look forward to seeing your beautiful smile again, sweet Lucette. You guys can't see it, but I was just shaking my head. He and Claude depart, followed shortly by Emmeline and Lance. Rod remains looking moodily at his plate while Ophelia discusses the exchange program with him. With no reason to stay, I curtsy and excuse myself from the hall. I waste no time in resuming work on the scarf. Zoom zoom! For the first time in a long time, I am completely focused. The motion of the needle and thread becomes almost hypnotic, my fingers moving without any thought. Zoom zoom! The embellishments take less time than I anticipate, and before I realize it, the scarf lays finished on my desk. I run my fingers over the stitches. They are nowhere near as precise as Bria's, and yet it is not bad. I lay the scarf on my lap with a smile. Finally, I can give Chevalier something nice. Time passes slowly without Chevalier there. In the silence, I find myself remembering the conversation I had with Ophelia. She said the best way to help Chevalier was to support him without standing up for him. I immediately think of the scarf. Tonight might be a good time to give it to him, just to show him that I'm always thinking of him, which is pretty cute. I cannot help my sudden nerves. I still feel like they don't really have much foundation for their relationship other than meanness. But that's just me, I guess. He wore Bria's scarf every day. What if he does not think mine is worth that? I startle so badly at the knock I almost fall off my bed. Permission to come in, my lovely princess. I take a deep breath as I fold the scarf on my lap. Come in. The door opens and Chevalier slides inside with a bright smile. Finally, I have returned, and just in time. 1 more hour away from you and I would certainly have withered away, but... He pauses. Princess, you're stiff as a board. Are you okay? I realize how tense I am and try to force myself to relax. I am fine. How was your talk with Claude? It was good. A lot of catching up. He narrows his eyes. Are you sure you're all right? With his eyes trained so completely on my face, he does not even notice the scarf. As he leans in to brush a strand of hair off my forehead, I seize my chance. I lean up to wrap the scarf around his neck. Chevalier freezes. I become aware of the way we're standing, me with my hands on his chest, he with his fingers wrapped around one of my wrists. What is this? He reaches up and touches the scarf around his neck. Lucette, is this? You said you needed a new scarf. So I made you one. You made this for me? Chevalier runs his fingers across the pattern in awe. Just looks like plaid to me. And then he smiles, so brightly it makes me smile too. Maybe it's at the ends. Lucette, this is the most spectacular gift I have ever received. He proclaims it so softly, so sincerely, that it makes my stomach leap into my throat. There is no need for you to exaggerate. Ha-ha! It is no exaggeration. This is stunning work, and the fact that you made it for me... He shakes his head. He's back with a scarf. It doesn't look so good with that cravat right there, though. You might need to get rid of that. Get rid of it and it won't be so bad. I will treasure it for the rest of my days. He pulls me closer and tips my chin up. And I still don't see any, decor on it. It's just a plaid scarf. They could have at least given it like a border or something to, you know, considering that she said she made a specific border for it. I will never take this off. That would be foolish. You should take it off. It is silly, and yet the proclamation brings me so much joy I act without thinking, rising up on the tips of my toes to give Chevalier a kiss. He goes to my face and kisses me back, a deep kiss that makes me feel both buoyant and grounded, that makes electricity shoot through my veins down to the soles of my feet. It is a kiss that leaves me breathless. When I pull away, Chevalier has such a soft smile on his face that I can't help but kiss him again, once, twice, 3 times on his lips. What did I do to deserve you, princess? He's just so creepy looking, though. He offered me just the right amount of lily-shaped chocolates, apparently. Chevalier laughs. I hope you're prepared for me to shower you with baked goods for the rest of your life, then. The minute he says the words, he freezes, suddenly looking sheepish. The rest of your life, he said. A bold promise, one that makes my heart soar. But Chevalier looks nervous, as if he's worried he's overstepped his boundaries. And that is, if you'll have me. I didn't mean to stretch out the word boundaries like that, but... Whatever, moving on. We're going with it. Thank you, Chev. Chevalier is a flatterer, but that's just who he is. He has never failed to make me feel special for just being myself. Sigh. No, Lucette, thank you. He sets his hand on his scarf. For everything. With this new scarf, I am undefeatable. More so even because I've come up with a plan to get on everyone's good side here at the palace. A plan? Chevalier plops himself down on the bed. You'll see. I don't want to spoil anything just yet. I settle myself beside him, close enough I can tuck myself into his side. He wraps an arm around my shoulder and smiles. Whatever it is, I'm sure it will work. If there's anyone who can befriend a stubborn noble, it's you. Such praise coming from the most lovable princess in all of Angel. You really will say anything to get on my good side, won't you? I shove him playfully in the shoulder. It is nothing but a light touch, but Chevalier still topples to the bed. He grins as I lean over him. Never. I only ever speak the truth. Is that so? When I attempt to kiss him on the cheek, he turns his face and my lips find his mouth instead. Positive. His smile is coy, almost challenging. I don't bother retorting his words, instead responding with another kiss. So many kisses that I soon lose count. Nothing matters but the softness of Chevalier's lips and the warmth of his embrace. How nice. I think in the end, I might be the one to fall asleep first. Tucked into Chevalier's side, my face pressed to his neck, I feel myself drifting. His scarf is wrapped around both of us, softer and cozier than any blanket. For the first time in a while, I fall asleep content. Alrighty, we're gonna save right here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that lovely stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!